Welcome home to St. Anne's. We want you to know that you're welcome to join us at 10 a.m. on Sundays. Please be sure to hit subscribe to receive our sermons. We can't wait to meet you. Please be seated. Part of getting church back to normal is getting the kids back. So I'm really, really excited that we have a full complement today. However, that means I have to vest too, which the only reason I'm vesting, and you guys have heard this complaint before, my dress doesn't have pockets. And many of you have heard my rage about pockets, so I won't go into that, but I feel very strong feelings about dresses without pockets. Very strong. Let's talk about our gospel today, because it's a hard one, and I think it takes some digging to figure out what we want to do with that. So there are two big stories here. And this is the period in Mark where he's really going through all the miracles. So it's just miracle after miracle after miracle. And we as Episcopalians are like, I don't know. Yeah. And I will say it again. The Bible is not a scientific text. Don't get too wrapped up in that. But it is really important that we talk about the healing and the never giving up, because that is the important piece of our stories today. So we have two important stories today. And one, it's really, really important to dive into the history of these pieces and get the fact that what Jesus is doing here is dirty and gross. Okay? So, we all have our kind of, especially in the last year, we've all gotten pretty fastidious about things, right? Cleanliness and things like that. But at this time in this culture, there were hardcore rules of what you don't mess with, what you don't touch, what you stay away from, and what you interact with. Women are dirty. Women are super dirty. We're gross. So there's a whole, I'm the first to admit, yeah, we're gross. Okay. So at that time period, there are all sorts of rules and restrictions about women, okay? And I feel like we can have a little bit compassion. Blood is gross, okay? I cannot tell you how many trainings I've had on what to do with, blood and all sorts, what you do with cleaning up and stuff like that. We know that bodily fluids are gross, okay? We know that dead people can spread disease and stuff like that. We know those things, right? And it was really important that time because disease is a big deal. So there are lots and lots of rules of purification rituals and things like that. And one of the things, if you are a religious man, you stay the heck away from impure things. Because if you have had contact with somebody, it's like contact tracing. If you have had contact with an impure thing, you are now impure. And you got to go through the whole purity thing. And there are lots of rules and lots of different things that you have to do to be pure again. So you can't go to the temple. You can't do certain religious things. There are all sorts of rules around this, right? Anyone else had to get, you have to get tested. I had contact with somebody who knew somebody who had COVID, so now I've got to worry about, we all know the contact tracing, right? So this is very similar at this time. Okay, so one of the big things about Jesus is that he didn't worry about those things, right? That he was willing to come in contact with people who were considered impure or unpure. The woman with the hemorrhage, can we just be real and honest? That's horrible. And that is something that does happen historically. Can we use the P word, periods? Okay, yeah. But this woman has been hemorrhaging for 12 years, which means that there's all sorts of awful stuff going on. And history, that really shut women down. Women were put in insane asylums who went through stuff like this. It was really, really horrible. Because if she is considered impure all the time, she has zero access to her community. Zero. So she has no supports. She can't have contact with anybody. And you'll notice that she's sneaking around. So she knows that she's not supposed to be around anybody. Right? Can you imagine that for 12 years? She's tried everything. She's tried everything to get better. She now has nothing. She has no money. She has no community. She has nothing. So she's sneaking around desperate because she's given up hope. There's nothing left. So she sneaks in to have contact with Jesus. Jesus knows it. He's very aware of what happens. And what does he say? You are well. You did well. You are a child of God, and you are healed. Same thing with our child, the little girl everyone says, just stop. Like, why are you wasting Jesus' time? This is a waste of time. Your kid is dead. Just get over it. It's a girl anyway. Who cares? I mean, she was 12, so you were getting in the process of marrying her off anyway. What are you worried about? Stop wasting Jesus' time. The kid is dead. But the man doesn't give up, does he? He says, no, I insist on coming to Jesus. I insist on trying. And what does Jesus do? Your faith, your persistence gives life. Your child isn't dead. Your faith and your persistence are the key to this. The important thing to get from all of our gospel today is that persistence, stubbornness. And if you look throughout the Bible, there is this overarching theme of stubbornness. Just doggone stubbornness. Like, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep trying. And even when all the rules say no, when all of society says no, when everyone around me says no, I'm going to stick with it anyway. And God always rewards that. God is always there for the stick to it. And that's what you and I need to hear. You and I have to hear that because it is so hard, isn't it, to stick to something when all hope is lost. It seems pointless. There is no pointless. There is no giving up. The church is changing. Our world is changing. Our families are changing. Things are changing around us. And I realize that gets overwhelming. And sometimes we're just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm tapping out. I'm done. I can't handle this. We have that with people, don't we? Or people were like, okay, we're good. We're good. Now, okay, because I always have to preface this with, there are healthy boundaries. So it's important to have healthy boundaries and not be in abusive relationships. Okay, so that's not what I'm saying. But I am saying to you that no human is worth giving up on. This woman has been sick for forever. This child is dead. There is no giving up on any person. No giving up. Not with God. And there's no giving up on ourselves either. And I realize that can be really tempting. There are times when you're just like, you know what, I'm good. I've done this. I'm good. I just want a nap. Okay, take a nap. But then we come back together and we keep searching. We keep digging. We keep working. There is no giving up with God. There is no giving up. If there's one message I want us to take away, we keep going. We keep going. We shift, and we adapt, and we change. And sometimes we break a few rules. Sometimes we go into groups where we're not supposed to be just so that we can be with Jesus. Because we know that where there is God, there is healing. There is a future. There is peace. There is love. There is glory. So we keep going. We keep striving, even when it feels like all hope is lost. Even when everyone around us says, stop wasting your time. Give up. Go home. Take your ball and go home. We don't. We stick it out and we keep going. We persevere forever. And then at some point, God says to us, good job. You are a child of God. You are beloved. You are a child of God. And I care about you, and there is healing in your perseverance. I feel like that was a rotten.
We want you to know that you're welcome to join us at 10 a.m. on Sundays. Please be sure to hit subscribe to receive our sermons. We can't wait to meet you.